Hey guys, it's the Kalinator here for you, and in today's backgammon lesson we're going to talk about cube action in non-contact backgammon positions. If you're a backgammon beginner, you have probably heard about what the doubling cube is, and while it is a very complicated concept overall, in non-contact positions it is really easy because all you need to do is count and calculate a little bit, and then you will know your best decision. In today's video we're going to talk about everything you need to know about cubing in non-contact positions, so stay tuned.
The tension, the drama, the swings, backgammon. There is nothing like it. In this channel, you'll find all kinds of content related to backgammon strategy, as well as vlogs from tournaments and more. The Kalinator welcomes you. Have fun and enjoy.
Before we start with everything, let's appreciate Bernhard Meyer for sponsoring me this beautiful World Backgammon Federation board. Trust me, it is very nice to play on, and you can get yours if you like it. Just send an email to Bernhard at wbif@gmx.net. Now, let's get to the topic of the video, which, as we said, is cube action in non-contact positions. First of all, there is a very easy general rule which you can learn. And while it is not always valid, in long races where both players' pip count is more than 80, you can always trust it. That is, the position will become a double for you as soon as you are in the lead by 2 pips less than 10% of your pip count. So let's look at this position. You have 80 pips and your opponent has 86. 10% of your pip count is 8, so 80 plus 8 minus 2 makes 86, which is exactly his pip count. This is why this position is borderline double. This is when it becomes a double, when you are in the lead by 10% minus 2. So from here, any position where you have a larger lead, you know that this will be a double. This is your first rule. And to add up to this rule, we can add a criteria for when your opponent still has a take. And that is also quite easy to remember because it's just the other way around. 10% plus 2. So again, you look at 10% from the leader's pip count. So let's just move this checker 4 pips back. Now I am at 80 pips still and he is at 90 pips. 80, again, 10% of 80 is 8. So 80 plus 8 makes 88, and then you add another 2, which makes it to 90, which is exactly his pip count. So what you know is that this is suddenly a borderline position about the take decision. It's just a 4 pips difference, but this makes such a large difference. Here it is already a very big double and a borderline double or take decision. Your opponent can take or pass and it will not make a big difference. So this is your first rule. 10% minus 2 makes it a double, 10% plus 2 makes it a pass. While the 10% plus 2 or 10% minus 2 rule is a good criteria you can have in a long race where there is no wastage, it is not so good in a shorter race when we come to a position where there is wastage. Now you may ask, what is wastage? And that is basically pips that you will roll but you will not be able to use. Like in a very clear example, in this position, if white rolls a 6, he will roll 6 pips but will only move 5 pips. That's why their pip count is not what their effective pip count is. Isight has some methods that will calculate the effective pip count, and now we're gonna jump into it. So, you make the following adjustments to the roll pip count, and this will be your effective pip count. You add 2 pips for each checker more than 2 on the ace point. You add 1 pip for each checker more than 2 on the deuce point. You add 1 pip for each checker more than 3 on the 3 point. You add 1 pip for each gap you have on the 4, 5 or 6 points where your opponent has a checker on the opposite side. So here that will be 1 pip, but if it was this way, then there wouldn't be 1 pip added because my opponent would also have a gap on his own side. Then you will add 1 pip for each crossover you have more compared to your opponent. So if I had a checker here, that would be 1 more pip. Then, and last, you add 1 pip for each checker you have more on the board compared to your opponent. Now let's take a quick example with this position, where my row pip count is 42 and my opponent's is 38. Which means that if you go by the 10% plus 2, 10% minus 2 rule, you wouldn't even consider doubling because you are actually behind in the race if you look at it that way. However, let's see what happens when we look into this with the Isight adjustment. So I have 3 checkers on the ace point, so I'll add 2 pips, that's 1 more checker over 2. I have a gap on the 5 point, and my opponent has a checker there, so I will add another 1 pip, and this makes it that I will add 3 pips to my row pip count, which results into 45. On the other side of the board, he has 5 checkers on the ace point, so I will add 2, 4, 6. He has 4 checkers on the 2 point, 1, 2 more, for a total of 8 until now. He has a gap on the 6 point, where I do have a checker, so that makes it 9 to add. And on top of everything, he has 15 checkers left and I have 13 checkers left. So I will add another 2. In total, I will add 11 to his pip count, resulting it into 49. My pip count, as we said, was 42 effectively. 45, sorry, effectively. So we have 45 against 49. Now, Isight has a different criteria figuring out whether it's a double or not, and this is the following. You have to add 1/6 of the effective pip count of the player on row to the number itself. So that's the first part of it. Let's do it. 45 plus 1/6 of 45, which is 7, makes 52. Then you will subtract the opponent's pip count from that result. It was 49, so I'll subtract 49 from 52, resulting in 3. Now, what is this, you may wonder? Well, then you look at this number, and if this number is smaller than 6, then you are supposed to double. If it is smaller than 5, so 5 or less, so yeah, if it is 6 or less, so not smaller than 6, 6 or less, then you double. If it is 5 or less, then you redouble. And for the take decision, it has to be 2 or bigger. So in this case, Isight's method says it is a double or a redouble and a take. And if that result, however, was 1 or less, then it would no longer be a take. This would be a pass for the opponent. Boom! Ash! Ah, that hurt. Yeah, that's what happens when you're not subscribed to the channel. So if you still haven't, just push the subscribe button, the notification bell, then you'll get notified every time I upload a new video, which is pretty good for you because you're not gonna miss these lessons as well as any tournament vlog you may have seen. I have done some. And this support is really appreciated because those subscribers and all this watch time I get from you is why I am doing this content. So please show your support there, I really appreciate it. You can also support me directly by scanning this QR code and making a small donation on PayPal. This is extremely appreciated and you will be mentioned in the next video. Now, you also don't want to miss the Kalinator Backgammon Series. The next one is about to start next Monday on the 26th of May. I'll post a link for that in the description. Now, back to the racing cubes and you see what magic just learning a few numbers can make. Now, another thing that the Isight method can tell us is the winning percentage of the position. While it is not always accurate, it is very often, I would guess, around 95% of the time within 2% of the exact percentage. So let's look at that method. First of all, you will do the exact same adjustments as we showed these ones. Then you will do the following. With the effective pip counts being, in this case, 45 and 49, you will divide the player on row's effective pip count by 3. You will take the difference and multiply it by 2. You will subtract the first number from 80 and you will add the second number. What? What? Here it is, written down. Let's do it. So we have 45, we have 80. 80 is always fixed. 45 divided by 3 is 15. You have 49 there. The difference is 4 times 2, that's 8. So the winning percentage is supposed to be 80 minus 15 plus 8, which is 80 minus 7, which is 73. That's about accurate because, as we see, the real winning percentage is 75. It's enough to tell you that it's a double and a take. Now, considering everything we learned, I'll give you 2 very quick quiz positions where you can test your knowledge and see if you manage to calculate that. I'll give a 10-second timer on each because that's how fast you need to be calculating it. If you feel like you need more time, you can always pause the video. So this is the first position. 3, 2, 1, time! Did you get that right? Okay, let's move on to the next one. Starting now, 10 seconds. Three, 2, 1, time! I hope you got it right, because if you didn't, you really need to rewatch the video. Well, that's it for today. I hope you liked it, and I'm very glad to show you this really easy method to calculate your winning chances and your decisions overall in non-contact positions. So if you have any specific topic you would like to see a video about, just write down a comment. I'll be very happy to make one. For now, have a wonderful day wherever you are, and I'll see you next time.